Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, sister cut ties with me because I didn't go to her destination vow renewal ceremony. My mom thinks she's entitled to obligating me into spending Christmas with her. Dental appointment. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Sister cut ties with me because I didn't go to her destination vow renewal ceremony. My eldest sister and her husband eloped before she enlisted in the Air Force. Several years later, they decided they wanted a ceremony after all. She was very adamant about having all the sisters together. There are 4 of us in total. They planned to have the ceremony in Puerto Rico to honor her husband's heritage. At the time, me and my family were going through a lot. To save time, let's call it a series of unfortunate events. I was recovering from surgery, my husband was out of work, we lost our home and had to move in with my in-laws. When I received the invitation to her ceremony, I told her right away we couldn't go and explained why. She immediately called our mother, without my knowledge, and told her to buy 3 round-trip tickets to Puerto Rico. When my mother called to give me the flight times, I was livid. I called my sister and told her she was way out of line to involve mom. She explained that now I had no excuse not to come and I should be thanking her. I exploded. I had had enough. I said, what part of we're on the verge of bankruptcy do you not understand? If you think I'm flying to Puerto Rico to watch you and your husband play dress up with your 4 kids, you got another thing coming. I didn't go the ceremony. My mother couldn't get her money refunded for the tickets, she lost over $2,000. My sister hasn't spoken to me since. It's been 5 years now. To this day she still insists I was being unreasonable and I ruined her special day. Edit. Thank you all for reading. To those of you who still don't get it, I'm sorry, because you probably never will. Now to answer some questions. My mother did offer to let our family stay with her during our time of financial crisis, but I declined as we had already made arrangements. No, she never straight out offered me money and I never asked. To everyone who thinks I turned down a free trip, you are an idiot. Please Google the definition of bankruptcy for your own education. No one offered to pay for anything other than airfare. My mother is not mad at me anymore. My sister did not reimburse our mother. Yes, my surgery did prevent me from traveling during the time, but not due to doctor's orders. It was due to pain and possibility of injuring myself further. I could barely walk at the time, so a lengthy plane ride was unthinkable. My sister's response to my condition was buy a wheelchair. Yes, my family is doing better, I appreciate your concern. I sincerely loved all the grammar jokes. Thanks again for your time, you guys helped me feel less shitey about the whole thing. Here's the thing, every time your mom even hints anything about this episode, just look at her and say, why are you mad at me? I didn't ask you for anything, and while I certainly appreciate you were trying to help, why didn't you talk to me first? You lost $2,000 because your other daughter can't accept that she's not the center of the universe. Why aren't you mad at her? Why hasn't she repaid you for the money she demanded that you spend? Great point. I think OP could have used that money on something substantially more important than plane tickets to boot. What good is having flight tickets when you still need to pay for accommodation, meals, travel insurance, transport while they're in to from airport or parking? And not being able to work during that time or look for work. My sister hasn't spoken to me since. It's been 5 years now. Sounds like a win. Is your mother speaking to you after you cost her some $2,000? If she isn't, this may be a Quinella. Yes, my mother still speaks to me. However, she did not agree with my decision at the time and it is still a sore subject. Was her vowel renewal on a different consonant? I couldn't help myself. Anyway, sounds like she saved you the trouble. She sounds like drama. If it was so important to her that all 4 of you be together, she should have found a different way of accommodating you that didn't involve railroading you. And, no, people so don't understand the emotional toll of bankruptcy. I'm sorry your family has opted to willfully not get it. It's like people who are insensitive to childlessness or widowhood or foreclosure or any of the other horrible things people love to stigmatize while pretending it'll never happen to them. My mom thinks she's entitled to obligating me into spending Christmas with her. My fiancé and I are thinking of spending Christmas in South Korea with his family. I met him when he was here on a student visa. He went back to his country and sadly, he was denied. So he's going for another interview in November, and if he fails that one, we're going to proceed with the K1 fiancé visa. We figured since my job gives me 5 months throughout the year of vacation time, I can visit South Korea quite often. Then when he gets approved for the K1, he'll come back here within that time frame, and I know it's getting much shorter than it used to be. This is all things my parents know about it, and they supported me into spending Christmas with him if his next visa gets denied. My fiancé has made it clear that he wants to cover all costs of my ticket when I go to South Korea. He also might be working when I'll be there, which is December 22nd to 30th or 31st. Unfortunately, since I have work, I can't be there longer, and that's the only vacation time I have for December. My fiancé might be working when I'm there, and we'll spend time together after he has work, and he'll be back home around 6:30 or 7 p.m. I don't care at all as long as we have together, that's all that matters to me. It will also be a low-key relaxing vacation, so we won't be doing anything too touristy. My mom knows I might be going and said I'm going to a country of people that don't celebrate Christmas. She also went on by saying she didn't know Christmas meant nothing to me, and if I go then I'll ruin Christmas. I suggested to her we can have a nice dinner before I go or when I come back. She complained it's not the same. Then okay, have nothing if that's what you want? I tried giving her a good backup option so we can still celebrate the holiday. She even told me that she told her friend I won't be here for Christmas, and her friend grabbed her arm and said, "No, not Christmas, she has to be here." I can't with the dramatics. It's not like my fiancé has family and she's the only one that matters. I feel so bad for his family who probably wants to see me. I even tried to mention that point to her, and she said, well, Koreans aren't Christmas people, so it shouldn't matter to his parents. She then further manipulated the situation by saying that my fiancé needs to be more respectful towards me and my family because he should know how important Christmas is to them, and that she feels he's manipulating me into spending Christmas with him. She also said that he's so irrational with money, and she's worried about our future over the way he is with money. She even tried pushing me to suggest Europe to him instead because to her they celebrate Christmas there, and emphasized it's a waste of money to go to Korea and I'll be jet-lagged when I come back. To that I insist it's his money and it's up to him, and where we want to celebrate Christmas. If I'm so jet-lagged then I'll use one of my sick days, and I'm sure we'll have a relaxing vacation, it won't be too action-packed. I was talking to my dad the other day and my mom overheard us talking. I was telling him that my fiancé's mom mentioned she wants me to come for Christmas no matter what. I told my dad that it's so nice to see how much she likes me. My mom said she needs to know Christmas is important to us. I said to her that means nothing, she's allowed to miss me. Then my mom said how Christmas is important and she needs to make the exception for her. I told my mom she doesn't need to make any exception, and she's a very lovely woman and she's allowed to want to see me. I just don't know what to do when it comes time, and if my fiancé and I end up having Christmas in Korea. Is my mom proving a point and I'm being oblivious? Or does my mom have no place to tell me what to do? Go, your mother is being seriously manipulative. Also, there are Christians in Korea. It just isn't a national holiday there, like here. Where I live there are a couple of Christian churches that specifically say they are Korean, both within 2 miles of where I live. So, your future mother-in-law might actually be Christian. I will say, for the majority of people in Japan and Korea, Christmas isn't actually a thing. Not beyond the commercialism of it. It's hard to explain even after living here. You are an adult. Live your life the way you want to, okay? If you want to go to Korea, go, okay? You offered many options to your mother so she wouldn't feel left out during the holidays, but she expected your fiancé to take his money he's using to pay for the trip to stay or just go to Europe. His family isn't in Europe though. She needs to understand, yes, you still love her, but you need to live your own life too. Also, I hate the fact she tried to drag others into it to guilt trip you. That's a lowball move right there. Go enjoy your holiday, okay? It's time to put your fiancé first. When you get married, you create a new family. What happens when you have kids and Christmas has to be all about your mother? Oh, you have to have Christmas morning at our house. How dare you open presents without me? I'm a mother of adult children, and we can't all be together at every holiday. I survive. It's not about me. If you don't set boundaries now, your mom will be a major player in your marriage. That never works out well. I was just having this thought. I keep thinking about this. What happens when I have kids? Is this going to happen when I have kids? Most likely it will. Then my mom's default reaction will be his parents are in Korea and they don't celebrate, so we don't have to go there. But what if the only time he has off from work is in December? I just know if this is a disaster, it's going to be a big disaster in the future. You need to start setting boundaries with your mom now, or she will only get worse. Please go to South Korea and spend the holidays with him. Dental appointment. I recently left an office-based job which included work colleagues and receptionists. One of the receptionists, called Kate, did not have a car and would walk home. As a result, at times I would drop them off despite me living 5 minutes away from my place of work and them being 15 minutes out of goodwill. Fast forward to now. A couple of weeks back, Kate messaged me with some small talk and I thought how sweet she wants to keep in contact. She then subsequently informed me she was requiring a filling and wanted an appointment with my who was a dentist, UK-based, NHS patients not being accepted. I spoke to my who said he was completely booked up and also works far and questioned how the Kate was going to get there. Despite this, she insisted she wanted to be seen and would take the train. She asked how much he charges for a filling and I foolishly said to not worry about it. I earn more and my was happy to do a small job. I informed her my was completely booked up. Fast forward to a few weeks, which in between she kept harassing me for an appointment. I tried to tell her I am not in control of the books. She then starts to complain about her teeth starting to hurt, and at this point I tell her she needs to consult emergency dentists. She tells me there's a waiting list to which she's applied and is desperate she doesn't ask about the cost of this. I spoke to my and he said he could start behind on a Friday with his nurse, but Kate would have to be there on time. I informed her and she said great and makes it seem as though her teeth hurting is my problem. Kate then messaged me saying I'll try my best to get there for the intended time. I tried to make it clear that she had to be on time as people were staying behind for her and she didn't seem to understand. On informing my he told me perhaps I should drive Kate the hour to and from the dental practice because he could not afford to have a late patient. I told him that's not my problem, but also felt bad having put an extra case on his list. I said I'd offer, bad mistake I know, and when I asked Kate if she would need a lift she jumped on the offer and demanded to be collected for a certain time, to which I said no, I'd collect her at a time suitable for me. I collect Kate from her home in intense traffic and I find myself apologizing for the traffic and getting stressed whilst she sits in my car without a single thank you. We get to the appointment on time and my husband successfully x-rays and removes her tooth as it was completely eroded and close to infection. She gets up, thanks him, and we go and doesn't offer to pay. My husband is also the awkward type and was only going to charge her £20 for the cost of the nurse staying behind. Emergency private tooth removals cost 10 times more than that and above. As this was out of hours, there was an informality to usual procedures. We're in the car and this woman has the audacity to tell me my husband gave her free treatment. I corrected her and said I will let her know if the cost, seeing as this was a different treatment plan and one had to fit her in after hours, to which she says okay begrudgingly. We were stuck in traffic and I was getting annoyed and passively aggressively mentioned how this was not the way I was wanting to spend a Friday evening. Her response is you and I both. I mention how my did me a favor, to which she responds to me too. It transpires she had not even approached an NHS dentist. Once I dropped her off, not a single thank you was said. I subsequently spoke to my husband and decided to invoice her £45. She still was getting a bargain, but I also felt bad as I know £45 is a lot for a person on a receptionist's salary. She responded saying she'll pay my so by the end of the week when it's payday, and the nature of the message just made me feel like a baddie. Am I the problem here? Kate is the entitled problem, and you need to stop enabling her entitlement. Kate needs to pay your husband for his work. Her salary is not your problem. Do not offer your help ever again because she won't stop. I've had a lot of people in life make obvious comments about how they earn less and almost guilt trip, and subsequently I have found myself picking up the bill here and there. I think I've internalized that now and clearly need to put boundaries in place. Your problem is not cutting this beggar out of your life before this all happened. Block her number and live your life. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.